Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. Schools open but with low pupil turnout. No incentives for COVID-19 frontline workers, reveals Secretary to the Cabinet. Join me with the details after this.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television. For non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage, Zambia needs Camnet television. For national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia, watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
And now the media news in detail. Schools have finally opened after a postponement due to the COVID-19. A check at some schools, both in densely and sparsely populated areas, revealed that schools are trying their best in observing the health measures. The challenge is, however, on the part of the learners, especially those in primary level, who immediately take off their mask as they walk home. Lady Diana Private School in Kanyama, Chief Executive Officer Simon Mwale, says the school is involving parents so that children do not forget to adhere to the health guidelines even as they walk the streets. Meanwhile, Kabulonga Boys Secondary School Parents and Teachers Association Chairman Likando Lisulo has since called on parents to ensure that pupils are made to understand the importance of wearing a mask and generally observing the health guidelines.
Schools have finally opened amidst concerns by some parents that schools might be breeding grounds for spreading the COVID-19. A check at some schools revealed that some institutions have made progress and are equal to the task in the fight against the virus while classes resume. The schools, however, have recorded a poor turnout. We spoke to the Parents and Teachers Association Chairman for Kabulonga Boys Secondary School, Likando Lisulo, who says parents need to help the teachers and generally government in the fight against this scourge. He is concerned that most young children take off their masks once they knock off, a situation he says is not good for this fight.
School preparedness in terms of the COVID-19 and the reopening of schools, we were in liaison with the school administration, and so far all the arrangements as pronounced by the government have been put in place. The only challenge that we have, or probably maybe an appeal that one has to push, is to ask parents, considering that children are coming from homes, so we need to prepare them from homes, make sure that we have adequate masks for them, so that as they take off from home, they are masked up. And we also prepare hand sanitizers for them, because the school might be safe, but then in between here, that's where the challenge is. But then if we can educate them from the onset, from our homes themselves, it means that we are able to actually alleviate quite a number of these occurrences that can actually come through.
And Lady Diana Private School in Kanyama Compound, Chief Executive Officer Simon Mwale explains that the school has put additional measures to protect the pupils.
That each and every child in class right now have got masks, and we don't allow children to share anything. We don't allow children even to share a pen. We don't allow children to hug. We don't allow children to shake hands. And we are not even allowing parents to go to classes. When you enter the gate, you're supposed to come to the office straight, then you go back. So even we don't allow any parents bring food for the children during lunchtime, so that we minimize the number of people who should be in school. And members of staff, we have tried by all means to ensure that we continue with the sensitization that we were doing already, On top of that, we have made sure that at the gate, as you have seen, the temperature is being checked, the hands are being sanitized, and also just the hygiene of the school itself. We made sure that at least all those areas are touched.
He has since assured the parents not to be afraid of sending their children to school.
Ourselves and parents to work together. You are right, here we can observe all the rules, but what about at home? And these kids are coming from houses, so we want to ensure that what they are doing here is exactly what they're also doing at home. Though, you know, it's not easy at home because of they live in different kind of an environment, so to say, but at the end of the day, we believe that each and every person now knows the dangers of COVID-19. So it's our earnest appeal to parents and out there and everybody, so that we should work together with the government. For us to fight this disease, we need collaborative efforts. We need all of us to put our hands together so that at the end of the day, nobody is left behind. And just appeal to the parents out there. You know, the schools, I believe, countrywide, we have tried our level best to ensure that we live by the rules. And when the kids come to schools, as administrators, we are putting our 100% levels so that our schools are not closed. You know, we are not happy to see kids being home.
Sharon Kalimula, Camnet News.
In other news, the Zambia Land Alliance has accused the council countrywide of failing to properly administer land, hence the country witnessing unprecedented land encroachment. Alliance Executive Director Patrick Musole notes that political interference has also contributed to lack of action by the council in terms of safeguarding land. His comments comes in the wake of complaints received from Solwezi District Northwestern Province residents that some people have encroached Solwezi Airport land by putting up various structures such as religious buildings and houses. In this vein, residents of Kiawama are concerned that many people would lose their lives in case of an accident, such as a plane failing to land properly.
Land ownership in Zambia is becoming increasingly a contentious issue. This is because land is more than just an economic asset or factor of production. Land ownership invokes a sense of security, identity, and a sense of pride. Based on existing literature, the main types of land conflicts in Zambia are conflicts between or among residents over land boundaries, conflicts relating to two or more claims made on one piece of land, also encroachment of personal or private land, mostly by political party cadres. Some people are ready to get land without following procedure, and this is the case in Solwezi district, where land for the Solwezi airport has been encroached by some people who have put up churches and houses on the airport land. The residents of Kiawama compound are concerned that in an event a plane fails to land, it may result in an accident.
Airport. Kiafona quick. Abibia ikara airport. Nebijima church. Kebia ira mone. Airport ya jinga itanshi. Machechi yake katataka. So kintu kyotwe na kukewa government. Itajishe pobrongo babya ikara airport ne machechi mambo ndeke pape nge ya rubankana bantu kampe bajimbu muchechi pasande yafana kwikara ke disastrous. So tuna ukewa government itajishe pobrongo pa iye mpunja ya airport ne pa ikira machechi mambo ke problem ikatampe. There is no way airport ya ikara bibye machechi na wa ikara bibye ngitara papita waya Babita waya pose po ya pirirani paikira machechi.
Nasi mtu 1970. So history yonse yakuno kusaidi ne yuka airport ya jinga itanshi. Aye mazubo onse aya kukatatakani machechezi. After ba airport kwa shire kimasala grave yo yaishire kwe. Aye onse machechi ya umwene kumwona nangu ba polisi bakaba yake katataka. Emwane
Zambia Land Alliance Executive Director Patrick Musole is concerned that local authorities are not doing enough to prevent land irregularities in the country. He regrets that in the case of Solwezi district, he feels the council has not done enough to curtail land encroachment which has been going on for a while.
Laws that guide where people can build. People cannot build on private property. The land for national airports That's private property. That, of course, it's public land. It's for the government, but people have no right to go and build there. They should have been stopped before they started building. That encroachment did not happen in one day. It's been going on for years, for some time. And that's when people have realized, start asking questions, where was the council this whole time? So they should have been prevented from starting in the first place. Secondly, people that are guilty of breaking the law, whether they are built in land for national airports, whether it is in private land for individuals, whether it is under electric wires, whether it is on a protected area, they must be prosecuted.
The Solwezi Municipal Council was not available for a comment by broadcast time. However, land issues are expected to be minimized once the policy is enforced, as recently Lands Minister Jean Kapata told Camnet News that the policy will soon come into effect.
Well, the land policy is done. As far as I'm concerned, we are done. The validation has been done. So we are waiting. It has gone into different ministries so that they can comment. After that, it will go to cabinet. After cabinet, then it will be turned into law. We are done with the draft, the national draft land policy.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Secretary to the Treasurer Fredson Yamba says there are currently no incentives for health frontline workers tasked to fight the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Mr. Yamba says the Treasury is not mandated to decide on any incentives for any frontline workers, as the decision can only be approved by the Cabinet. Mr. Yamba said this when he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee Monday morning for the consideration of the interim report on the audit of COVID-19 resources for a period ending 31st July 2020. And Mr. Yamba said about 61 billion kwacha was raised in relation to the fight against COVID-19 in the country through cooperating partners, while 12 million kwacha was raised through local contributions.
Healthy frontline workers have continued to put their lives at risk in helping contain COVID-19 in the country. However, no incentives have been provided for them to appreciate the effort being put in the fight against the pandemic. Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia had complained that its members have continued to work under harsh conditions, while no allowances have been given to them to appreciate their efforts.
Site development come at a time when the Ministry of Health, they have completely failed to pay the incentives to all the health workers, especially the frontliners who are fighting COVID-19.
And Secretary to the Treasury Freedom Yamba has confirmed before the Public Accounts Committee that no incentives have been put in place for health frontline workers despite all the donations made in the fight against the pandemic. He says the decision can only be made by government through cabinet approval.
On that, are you stating that there is no incentive that has been put together for the frontliners, health, the frontline health officers? Is that your submission?
Thank you, Chair. Currently, there is no cabinet decision regarding that issue. It's something that I know has been looked at and it's been actively being followed, but we do not have a final position. So until we get a final position, there's little that the Treasury can do with regard to giving that kind of incentive. Chair, I submit.
The Secretary has also told the committee that over 61 billion kwacha has been raised in the fight against the pandemic, while over 43 billion kwacha was released to the Ministry of Health.
Zambia has received pledges and commitments from both local and international, that is bilateral and multilateral cooperating partners, in amounts totaling 6,399,286,000 and 226 kwacha.
The debate surrounding where the COVID-19 funds have been channeled to has continued to surface, and proper accountability remains key to solving this mystery.
There, the pledges from cooperating partners are being managed by project implementation units in case of Africa Development Bank, and the World Bank, while support from bilateral partners is being channeled through institutions such as World Health Organization, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and non-governmental organizations. Furthermore, most of the support was not being provided as direct finances to government, but in kind and in form of support through provisions of training and capacity building of health frontline staff, food packs, machinery, equipment, and other forms of materials that are being used in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. Schools open but with low pupil turnout. No incentives for COVID-19 frontline workers, reveals Secretary to the Cabinet. Well, thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Remember to always wear your mask, keep at least 1 meter distance, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay safe and good afternoon.